Are there any neuroscientists or like psychologists or psychiatrists on this app who can answer this question for me?
Okay, I've been tagged in this one a whole bunch. I'm going to do my best to answer it. The question is, in people who have a really busy mind, potentially with autism or ADHD, is it possible that all that activity in the brain causes certain resources to be used up more quickly? Specifically, could this cause brain cells to use up things like dopamine or serotonin, which might lead to changes in anxiety levels or anything else? It's a really interesting question, and there are two ways I could answer it. One way that's very cautious and scientific, and the other way that's very speculative and casual. I'm going to try to combine them so that you're not super bored, but I'm also not super wrong. First off, it does make sense that brain cells which are overworked and tired out will become less effective at doing their jobs. But with that said, for this hypothesis to be true, the brain cells which are getting tired out because they're paying attention to the environment or processing information or whatever else, they need to be the same brain cells that are regulating emotion or anxiety. Or they must work together or communicate with the cells that regulate emotion or anxiety. That's how the brain works, essentially. You have groups of brain cells which perform a certain function or a set of functions, and groups of cells that control similar or related functions can talk and alter each other's activity and stuff. And there's definitely some relationship between brain cells that control attention and those that control fear or anxiety. Makes sense, right? So yes, theoretically, I do think it's possible that a change in the function of brain cells that regulate attention could lead to downstream changes in anxiety or really anything else. I really hope that makes sense. But this is all theoretical. In reality, what's probably going on, biologically, is that those systems in the brain which may feel depleted because you're actively working so hard to focus your thought and attention, they may actually be in a way depleted, but not because you're overexerting them. There are natural variations in everyone's neurochemistry. You have a whole bunch of systems in your brain, and sometimes some of them work really well and others don't work so well. These differences can be caused by your genetics, your childhood experience, things you were exposed to in the womb. While it might feel like you're depleting those systems because your mind is so busy, it's possible that your mind is so busy because there's already some natural reduction in the level of those neurotransmitters. Just saying, at this point, this is pretty speculative. But the last part of this is that she said she started taking L-tyrosine and she found that it helped her focus. Well, this is not medical advice, and there's really not strong scientific evidence at all that L-tyrosine helps with ADHD. But conceptually, L-tyrosine is a molecule that's used in the synthesis of dopamine and norepinephrine. Taking it orally might be able to elevate levels of these neurotransmitters in the brain. And many ADHD medications, like Adderall, target these exact two systems, norepinephrine and dopamine, so it does make perfect sense. But like I said, the clinical evidence just isn't there for L-tyrosine. I should also add that as far as I know, there's no scientific evidence that people with ADHD or autism burn through these resources faster. So conceptually, if you are taking L-tyrosine and it's helping with your focus, it's probably not because you're replenishing a depleted system, but that you're supplementing the system to begin with.